need to remind you that we need to stop a god from destroying reality.
This is the most action-packed episode we've had so far.
It's in your hands now. Go!
Holy shit.
Just threw a wobbler, mate.
Assassin strike.
I am the most complete fighter in the world. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
You can call it the art of fighting without fighting.
Stick around. Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Dodge this.
Welcome to episode 7 of Dodge This an Action Movie podcast. My name is Simon Fielder, and I am coming live, but in a pre-recorded way, from what some people are calling the windiest city on Earth. And those people are just me. I'm in Amsterdam, and a Storm Eunice is in town. Matthew, how are you?
Yes.
And is your garden furniture okay?
It's not actually. Our barbecue blew over, and it's a hefty one. So, yeah, you know, this is, in terms of our own action going on in the background, this is the most action we've had in a long time.
Okay, well, that's taken a turn. You pay for quality in an outdoor barbecue, but, you know, they're not always storm-proofed, are they?
It's attached to a gas canister, which you think
Oh, God.
which would make it heftier. Also, that amazingly won't be the only time I mention gas canisters this podcast.
No, it's like a video game trope, isn't it? Anytime I see a gas canister, I'm like, I should probably shoot that when there's a crowd around it. And I don't think that's a healthy... It's not a healthy way to think, is it? So the storm is called Eunice, like the lady who famously won Gladiators and then was asked to come back as a gladiator. I know Matthew's a big fan of that fact.
I am, but also anyone who's listening outside of the UK, enjoy that Google.
Absolutely nothing. I enjoyed it when I said it half an hour ago when we recorded this intro for the first time before my computer took a shit and decided it didn't want to record anymore. Little peek behind the wizard's curtain there.
Don't let them see that, Simon. Tell us what film we're talking about.
Okay, well, I'm excited for this one because it's the most topical one we've done. While we like to try and keep pretty up to date with the films, it's very rare that it dovetails with the release of a movie. But just yesterday, Netflix dropped Fistful of Vengeance, the follow-up to the Wu Assassins show, and so we've hopped right aboard so that we can chat about that, and hopefully, you know, while everyone else is chatting about it, you know, just be part of the conversation, you know?
Yeah.
Before we get into that, though, what have you been looking at? What have you been seeing? What have you been consuming?
Outside of the action genre? Two films this week that I'll give a shout to. Little indie film that's on Prime, sci-fi indie called Prospect. Very good.
Okay.
Won't go into that in too much detail, but it's a lovely little sci-fi indie. And also, I took myself to the cinema to watch the new Jackass movie. And
you took yourself. That's nice.
I watched it on my own in the cinema. There's about 6 of us in because it was the middle of the day. And I'll be honest, I've not laughed out loud so much in a long time.
Mate, my plan for this evening was to go and see the new Jackass movie, but I think Eunice has had other ideas since all the public transportation has been shut down.
Well,
I'm sad because I do want to see it. I think it's going to, and you're right. I also don't laugh out loud very much. So maybe it will tap back into those 20 years ago boyhood memories.
Oh, we're living in the old days today. Simon,
yes.
What other things can we look forward to in cinemas or likely straight to TV soon?
Mate, you're talking about trailers, I imagine.
I am.
Don't you want to hear what I've watched?
Yeah,
not really.
That would be the fair thing. That would be the fair thing. I thought I completely forgot to ask you on pod.
No, I sense what's happened is because we're up against it for time due to the fuckery of my computer. Now we've got to rattle through this. I will quickly touch upon 2 things that I've seen since last we podded. One, Reacher, the TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Which we talked about, and then that was unleashed onto Amazon Prime. Oh my God, my table just blew off my balcony. Holy shit. I'm not even kidding. Mate, I'm on the 7th floor.
Oh, fuck, do you want to stop?
I might have to just go
Yeah,
and look.
just pause. Go like, pause. But keep this in. Pause.
I'm pausing.
No. In a severe lightning storm, you want to grab your ankles and stick your butt in the air.
He's right. If you're going to get hit, it's the safest orifice.
Yeah, I'd like to get hit by lightning once, see what it's like.
And we are back after what can only be described as a slightly unexpected turn of events. Jokes about there being Storm Eunice kicking around, and then, which I guess she heard, and she threw my table off a 7th floor balcony.
Threw a wobbler, mate. To be fair, though, Simon has gone to search for his table, and it's gone.
The table
It's gone. It's going to...
has
It's going
been
to be
fed
a 6-part podcast.
to the gods. I don't. There's some water outside, down ground level, like it's the Netherlands. So it's not a canal, it's not a lake, it's like a pond. I don't know. There's bodies of water. I can only assume it's gone in there. I went down, had a look. The wind whipped up, and I basically sort of pissed half of it all over me. And then I didn't want to get close to the edge because I felt like a Mr. Bean situation would occur where I was thrown into the lake. So I think the lake has eaten my table. And in the
It's going to be all right.
intervening time, I've brought in the rest of the furniture that was on the balcony. That was tense. Add that
Let's get
to the
back to the action.
the nightmare of recording issues, and this is the most action-packed episode we've had so far. Where we left off was Reacher on Amazon Prime. Whew. Are you familiar with Jack Reacher? I seem to recall you saying no.
I'm not. I know who Jet Reacher is. I've seen bits, but it's never done anything for me.
Okay. Well, I've read, I think, just 2 of the books, actually, and seen both of the Tom Cruise movies. And we touched on this before. A lot of people were like, Cruise isn't Reacher. Reacher's this huge Hulk guy. Anyway, that Alan fella from,
He's too big. He's too big.
He is too big for a normal human, but he's actually bang on for this character. And I devoured Reacher, actually. I absolutely banged through that in a week or so. And I enjoyed it. I think it's captured the tone of the books perfectly. And the books are a bit silly and a bit cheesy, and that carries into the show, for better or for worse. Would I recommend it? I'd say give it a look. And if you like the first couple of episodes, I think if you like the idea of like a detective who headbutts people a lot, then you're in. He's basically Batman without the cape. No, I knew that would ruffle your feathers.
We don't have time for that debate, do we?
No, not right now. The only other thing I watched on Netflix was Beyond Skyline, the 10 years later, I think, sequel to the quite bad alien invasion thing.
Was the original one with the guy from Scrubs?
From Scrubs, absolutely correct, yeah. He does not reappear in this sequel. However, Frank Grillo does, and Iko Uwais both appear in this.
Oh, does he?
It's a batshit movie, but it throws everything at it. I'll say this. The reason I watched it is because there is another podcast about action movies, probably one of the most popular podcasts about action movies, called Action for Everyone. And the guy who runs that podcast, called Liam O'Donnell, wrote and directed this movie Beyond Skyline, and the movie after that, Skyline 3S. So I thought, I'm going to have a look at it, see what it's all about. I mean, it's got big aliens, it's got martial arts, and I have no idea how it got made, but fair play for getting that movie made. It's batshit.
I'll give it a go. That sounds right on my cup of
You
tea.
might quite like
also,
it.
I like how you always disassociate. Sometimes you disassociate action from sci-fi. Yet, the 80s had things like the 90s had Predator and Aliens and things like that. Sci-fi and action, perfect bedfellows.
No, you're absolutely right. And this overlaps those two in a way that is unexpected. And I can't describe it in any other way apart from it's just batshit. It starts and then it's fucking like pedal to the metal, and it just never lets up, and none of it makes any sense. But It's
Should
a lot of
I
fun.
watch it and should we talk about it?
Whew, I don't think I want to talk about it as a full
Okay.
episode, but I think I would love to hear your thoughts on it on a future episode.
I'll give it a watch in the next couple of weeks.
All right, now I think it's time.
Simon. Trailers.
Here we go.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah, we got some trailers for you. Okay, where do you want to start, Matthew?
I think we should traditionally start with our boy Bruce Willis.
It's not a trailer section without him.
Since the last episode, I'm sure fans of action and fans of Bruce will know he has his own section in the Razzies because of how many films
That's true.
he's got out this year, which we've been live following if you've been listening to the podcast. But yeah, we got one called Day to Die. Simon, what are you thinking?
Well, this one, it seems like they were stretched to even have enough footage to feature Bruce in the trailer, if I'm being honest. He is in clearly 1 to 2 scenes of this movie. It's really a movie about Johnny Drama, right? From Entourage, Kevin Dillon. Frank Grillo, again, making another appearance. I mean, that guy is working. He's busy. Again, he's not in the trailer loads. So I feel like as Grillo's stock is going up, maybe his appearances in this level of movie will be going down.
But you'd hope, I know it isn't the case, but you'd hope maybe they're holding back the best stuff for the film. But
Yeah, like all the
think
best
they
trailers.
do you know what? This one, of all the Bruces we've covered over the last few months, this to me looks like it might be the best of the Bruces.
Yeah, I will take that under advisement. It looks like it is probably an absolutely tolerable film.
It looks like, though, someone who's watched action films for ages and liked all the worst bits of action films may have wrote the script. And I don't want to be like that bad, but like it's got that sort of, it's so action, it's comedy vibe. Like there's one less job and all that sort of.
Yeah.
Do you know who you're stealing from? Like everything you've heard elsewhere, just crammed into a best of, which I like.
It does feel like a movie that would have been made in the 90s or 2000s. Which leads me quite nicely, actually, to the next trailer, which is The Contractor, with old Captain Kirk, Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, yeah. And what's the other guy called, who I love?
Ben Foster.
Yeah, 310 to Yuma, he's brilliant in that. He's brilliant in 30 Days of Night. He's just great in everything he does.
Well,
a lot of time for him.
Fingers crossed that reign continues. Because this movie also, this looks good. It looks pretty entertaining. It looks like the type of movie that would come out like once a month about 10 to 20 years ago. It's like a mid-budget action thriller, you know? It's like a thriller with action in it. It's got fucking Kiefer Sutherland in it, mate. What else do you need?
I really like the look of this trailer. I think. Do you know what I like about this? It looks like, obviously, it's centered around human drama. And even though, again, it's like the old thing of how can you get someone who's out back into a game? Oh, family. It's got all the drives you expect. But I think this is going to be, I think this is going to have twists. I think it's going to have turns. I think this could be a sleeper hit when it comes out.
Really? Oof,
Yeah.
That is a bold place to place your chips, Matthew. I think this is going to be 100% a 3-star movie. And I've got time for that. We've talked about them in the past. And I wish there were more of like that. We haven't seen it yet. It could be amazing. It could be dog shit. But it looks like that. Mid-budget, couple of names, solid action thriller. And I wish there were more of them.
I think it's going to be, I think it's one of those films that is going to be, this is how I'm going to hope for. One of those films that you watch, you go, that was great. And then you never watch it again.
Never. And then one day it's on TV quite late at night. And you're like,
and you go, oh, this
looks
great.
fun. And then about an hour in, you're like, I've definitely seen this. No recollection. It's like you get Men in Blacked at the end of it. You can't remember any of it. But yeah.
I'm holding out hope.
No, I'm absolutely ready for it.
Last one. What I would say is our greatest trailer of the week.
There's just, where do you start with this?
BMCM, that's what I'm calling it.
BMCM.
Yeah.
Do you want to try and pronounce it in
absolutely
Hindi?
Absolutely
I
not.
guess it's in Hindi, I think. Bada Mian Chota Mian.
Oh, you did well there.
I apologize to everyone who speaks that language.
Which we think from a quick translate means something like Big Brother, Little Brother. But to be fair to Simon here now, you found this trailer literally 5 minutes before we started?
Yeah, that is fair. Although I saw it earlier in the week, and I think I was just like, fucking hell, this is amazing. And then I forgot to put it in the document for the episode. So then I was like, oh my God, what was that thing with Tiger Shroff? Where there was just a load of guys with lasers on their guns that forget how to point them. It's not even a trailer. It's basically an announcement that there's a Bollywood action entertainer starring Tiger Shroff and Akshay Kumar. One of the old guard of Bollywood action cinema meets one of the new guard. Hence, I guess, Big Brother, Little Brother. And it also seems to be a remake / reimagining of an old Bollywood movie. But this is insane. It's a teaser that basically says these two are going to be in a film at the end of 2023. And none of the footage is going to be in the film. It's ridiculous.
But again, like they did the thing which I just love this about Bollywood action films. Like they've clearly got a really slick drone shot of London, and then they've got a pretty decent CGI helicopter going over it. But it's like absolutely not a real helicopter. Nothing about the way it flies over that airspace is real.
No. And it's also completely irrelevant. And then it cuts to what looks like a sewer. And then there's some like SWAT team guys with laser sights. And then Tiger Shroff stands in front of them. Even though they've got laser sights, they can't shoot him. And then he shoots them all and does martial arts and guns.
I'm going to say as well, every time I go away from Tiger Shroff and I come back and I see his face again, I was just amazed by how good looking that man is.
Love him a little bit more.
He's just...
You get to see his abs as well. Phew.
Oh, yeah, they nice, close, slow motion, glistening out. Oh, this film's going to be the best film of 2023.
It looks like it could be like a contender to take War off the top spot at this point. I mean, yeah. I can't wait. We have to wait 1 year and 10 months to see it. I don't know if they've even started production on it. Oh my God. What an incredible announcement though. That's the way you announce something rather than a little footnote in Variety or Hollywood Reporter. Woof.
Yeah, that was great. It was great. Excited about that.
Well, before we go from the trailers, I feel like I should give you the stage because the Doctor Strange trailer came out at the Super Bowl. And while it's not an action movie, I know you're a big Marvel fan, and also it is directed by Sam Raimi, who I'm a big fan of.
It is an action film.
Is it?
Again, you can't disassociate something that is probably going to be 70% action sequences.
Yeah, that is true.
Because it's Marvel. It's just the superhero genre has become its own genre, so you separate it from action the way you view action. But it technically is an action adventure or...
Yeah, you're right. You're right. If we're categorizing it like that, but as you say, I do think Marvel and comic book movies are a sort of genre unto themselves now.
They've definitely become like a superhero comic book has become its own genre, but it's definitely superhero action.
Yes, this one looks absolutely batshit.
It looks amazing. I mean, this is the thing. Like they announced today or yesterday that there's going to be no more Avenger films. Like the Avengers as a team in the MCU are done.
Wow.
Like that doesn't mean they won't do new Avengers or anything like that. So I think stuff like multiverse is the future of Marvel in terms of it's very hard now to go back to a film which is just one of the heroes or one of the main characters being on their own because the universe is so dense. And I think this is the way to do it. Same with Spider-Man, where you've got a lot of people coming into a story. It's what they're doing in the comic books for years. But yeah, you in Phase 4, it's hard now to not need to watch 10 years worth of films.
It's a bit mental, isn't it? Everything is the all-star team up.
Yeah, there's stuff that looks like it's been sort of set up in the What If series.
Oh, fuck off, mate! I'm not watching that.
It's amazing.
I haven't even seen Spider-Man yet.
It's great. Long story short, I think this is going to be Marvel's. Obviously, they're setting it up to be this. It's going to be Marvel's film of the year, and saying that's coming off the back of like, even though Spider-Man was tail end of last year, I think it's going to be an absolute smash for them, and I am very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited that they've brought Raimi back. To be fair, because he smashed those first two Maguire Spider-Man men.
It'd be interesting to see the because Raimi has such a unique style.
Yeah, there are a couple of shots in that trailer that were like classic Raimi. I hope they've left him to go full Raimi on it. That would be incredible.
Yeah, well, one of the good things about Marvel, and one of the things that's made them stand out above DC, and DC's only just coming around to this way of thinking with things like the Suicide Squad, is they let the director and the people who the creative team have their sort of voice on it. And that was really present in sort of the third Thor film when Taka directed it. And you really saw it. So like you say, having someone like Raimi who style is so unique. The only way they can go after that is Wes Anderson's Doctor Doom or something, which would be incredible. Wes Anderson's Fantastic Four.
Speaking of Marvel, also and this has to be the last trailer, but Moon Knight. I watched the trailer for that, and I have to say that looks quite good. What do you know about it?
It's going to be. I think Moon Knight's going to be. It's got a lot riding on it, so. Very quickly, they've set up this side of the MCU in the Eternals a little bit. So
fuck, I forgot of Eternals. I haven't watched that either. Jesus Christ!
Don't. But yeah, they that side of Marvel, it should be interesting to see. Let's not go too far into it, but yeah, the trailer's great. I think it's going to be a really strong, standout, unique Marvel film.
It looked dark. Is it a series?
Yeah,
it's a series.
I don't know, actually. Maybe. I can't remember.
I can't remember. But I was intrigued because I've never heard of Moon Knight, so I don't know the backstory. So,
well, if you want 90 minutes...
We don't have time. Matthew, we don't have time. I've got to keep an eye on the balcony in case anything arrives or leaves it.
Also, we are... about 20 minutes in. We've got to get this film done.
So far, it's mainly been about Storm Eunice. She has swept in here and stolen things. All right, let's do it. Crank up the jingle generator. I'm about to press the button. Boop.
And now, our feature presentation.
Dodge this.
Yeah, it's that time. It is the Netflix original, the straight to Netflix direct sequel to the not the sum of its parts, ultimately, I suppose, fairly average Wu Assassins from 2020, I believe. It's a feature-length follow-up to that. It's called Fistful of Vengeance. It's got 4 of the main people back from Wu Assassins, and it is directed by a guy who directed at least one and maybe some of the episodes of Wu Assassins. I, full disclosure, Matthew, watched the entire series of Wu Assassins when it came out in 2020 because it had Iko in it, and I was very excited. It had some quite good action in it. However, I suppose if you break it down, it means I watched about 8+ hours of that show for maybe 20 minutes of good action, which I don't think is a great return on investment.
I think, well, this is the weird thing, because I haven't seen Wu Assassins.
Okay, this is good, because going into this, people will want to know if they have to.
Well, this is the thing, because I knew that going in, and to be fair, to its testament and to its hindrance, you don't need to have seen Wu Assassins, but that does mean this whole film is very exposition heavy. There's never a thing where it's not explained, and it does, I think, really jar how I felt about the characters in this, because it's such a weird one, isn't it? Like you say, the people in this, they're top level, like, action stunt guys. Like we say, your boy, you love him, don't you? Iko.
Huge fan of Iko. Not a fan of his agent or whoever is getting him roles, but I think that's just the nature of the business, isn't it? You don't know how these things are going to turn out.
This is a weird thing, because I think this is a good role. I think when he signed up to this, it's great. I don't know what Wu Assassin's like. I don't know what the fan base is like, but I get the sense that this probably try to get too much into too little time when you come in off the back of a series that probably has more character development, more backstory, but you get enough to know what it is. What I think this film lacked, and this was the thing that pulled me out of the film a lot of the time, was I'll buy into the magic, I'll buy into the world building, I'll buy into the supernatural. That is my wheelhouse. I love that shit. But what it didn't have was jeopardy. I never felt like a character was in danger through this entire
zero stakes
entire thing. I always knew that from the moment you see that is it a bad guy, isn't it a bad guy, I was like, well, I know where this film's going now. And there was no sort of twists or turns. What I will say for it, though, has some beautiful fight scenes, which I think should have been more fronted and more sort of real world. Like there's a fight on the staircase in an office building, and had that been in, say, The Raid, that would have been a 20-minute scene. It would have been brutal, it would have been gritty, and Iko would have done what Iko does. I think it would have been great. But they just felt like it got a bit what's the movie with Nick Cage, the treasure hunting one? Felt like it got a bit like that. Like
National Treasure,
that's the one. It's felt like now we've gone to this place, we've learned a tiny thing to get us to the next place, where we'll meet a person who'll give us a bit more exposition to move us on to the next place. Oh, the baddies have turned up. They've done this. Let's go to the next place. And I think like it's a shame in certain ways because there's some bits in this that were just great. And if they just, I never thought I'd say this. If it had maybe 20 more minutes in this film that focused just on extending those action scenes, I think it would have really rooted you for it. But the thing is, they were so clean with the action scenes that you never got that sense of jeopardy. Like there's a great bit where they, we talked about gas canisters earlier. They, spoiler alert, they topple a car with some gas canisters by shooting them out. And then they're trapped in a van and they have to get onto the street. And the action, that little fight scene on the street was beautiful. But it just felt like you're just having this fight scene because a fight scene needs to be here. Like, never worried that someone's going to die. Never worried that someone's going to get injured. Like, that was what I think really bothered about me. Because when they fight, they're so good at it. But they obviously just, for whatever reason, behind Netflix, it just felt, it didn't have the time to breathe. Like, there's a beautiful bit in that fight scene where, come on, brain.
He's live IMDbing. I'll film it.
It's Lewis 10. It's Lewis 10. I couldn't remember which character it was. He downward kicks a wok and it flicks up and hits someone in the head.
That was a good moment, actually. Yes.
Beautiful bit of action. And like,
I mean, you can claim that for your action replay. I had forgotten that.
100%. It made me really smile. And again, like one of the things I didn't expect about this going into We're Assassins, I thought it was going to be kind of just clean, good choreography, good sound effects. I didn't expect it to be so much blood and gore. And
it was a little bit bloody, wasn't it? Yeah.
And I liked that. I thought, this is really brutal. This is really great. And then it gets to like the end and I just kind of zoned out. I was just like, oh, of course they're going to beat this guy. There's a bit where someone had a sniper rifle for absolutely no reason.
I've literally watched it less than 24 hours ago and I've forgotten that bit already.
They have a sniper rifle. They have the jump on the main four and they fire it about 2 meters ahead of their feet for no reason. Like, they want to kill these people. And I just think, again, like, why have you wrote in a sniper rifle and not, at least if you're not got the goal to kill someone off, at least have them damaged and it sort of make the drive to get this done deeper. Like,
got to keep them around for the potential sequel.
Well, this is the thing. It's like an extended episode, isn't it? I think that's.
I mean, that is literally what it feels like to me. I don't. If you want to finish your thought, because I feel like I'm going to open my Pandora's box, and it's
no. You open it
a lot.
I've rambled there. You go.
I was very excited about this going in because the trailer made it look like it was going to be really good, and I realised how innocent and naive that sounds when I say it out loud now, because I think I'd also forgotten that the series was not quite the sum of its parts, and like it had some good action, a lot of supernatural bullshit that wasn't particularly interesting, and it dragged out, and some episodes were a bit boring and blah blah blah, sort of, you know, that Netflix stretch thing that used to be more of a problem, I think, than now, when it's like, this should have been less episodes because quite a couple of them are a bit boring. I watched this last night, and I'm glad we didn't record the podcast directly after I'd watched it, because I just felt sort of furious about it.
Oh, really?
And now I've had a bit of time to simmer down, but I went in with hoping it was going to be good. And I think ostensibly it is a bad film. And I hoped that we would get past episode 7 before we encountered a film that I had very little good to say about, because I do want this podcast to be about us enthusing about stuff, and I will find some things to enthuse about. But the first few minutes of this is like the one guy summing up the plot of the TV show very quickly, and then Iko and Lewis Tan getting into a little fight in a nightclub, and you're like, okay, great. Like, it's a Netflix movie. There's obviously, the research has gone in that suggests enough people have watched Wu Assassins that if you like Wu Assassins, you will like Fistful of Vengeance. We know what they want. They want to see some fights and shit. But the first fight kicked off, and I was like, oh no, this isn't very well edited. Oh, is this what the whole movie is going to be like? And then the whole movie was like that. It managed to be a movie that was like 80% action, and 2% of that action was engaging to me.
Yeah.
It was so frustrating.
But again, I think it comes down to that lack of jeopardy. I think because again, it's weird when you look at this film and you pull apart all the parts and you pull apart everything it is. There's nothing really that you could say they've done that wrong. It looks beautiful, the acting, there's no like real clanger performances or anything like that. The script's a bit exposition heavy.
The whole script is nonsense. Why are they in Thailand? For reasons. And then they're like, we do need to introduce some new characters. So two of the characters are just like, I went to Thailand once, so I know someone who is here. Here she is. And then Lewis Tan's character is like, I met a woman in London once, and here she also is. And we both have a romantic backstory with them for also reasons.
See, I just assumed anyone who had a backstory that joined a character was in the series.
Neither of them.
That's the way my brain just went.
No, neither of the sort of female quote unquote goodies were in the series. The British sounding lady and the South African sounding lady.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's weird again. Like the action, like you say, they clearly choreographed the fights well, and the guys who are doing it and the girls who are doing it, they're great. They're really
and
good
they've
fighters.
trained, and that's what's so annoying. And afterwards, I went on a little internet deep dive, and I saw on like Lewis Tan's Twitter or Instagram some behind the scenes stuff of them choreographing all the shit, and like they did all the stuff.
Yeah.
It's just shot badly. It's like,
because that's the thing. There's to use Iko Uwais' sort of own back catalogue. There's a shot in The Raid where I can't remember if he sweeps him or whatever, but basically it's a takedown shot, and the camera follows the action. So when it slams into the ground, the camera's tilted and turned. And I remember it's one of the first time I've ever seen that shot done in that way and so well, and it really made me go, whoa. Whereas this, the camera tries to follow the action, but it has no purpose.
It's the difference between shooting coverage and planning the shots for the fight scene. And this has a lot of very wide stuff. There's like a fucking like drone shots of the action, or like a big sweeping, around the area, these big spacious areas that, like, in Hong Kong movies, as soon as they enter one of those like big studio sets, you're like, this is going to be fucking amazing, because that's where other cool fights take place. In this, they're like, we're in a foundry and there's sparks flying, and you're like, all right. And somehow it just doesn't look like exciting.
That foundry felt very, most of that set did not feel practical. Felt very as if it had been green screened. I don't.
Oh, really? I didn't note that so much, but I
don't know if that is the case, but that's how it felt. But yeah, there's stuff where the camera was like I think in an action film, and again, this is why you have people who are very good at making action films. There's a thing where, you know, the camera is like an active participator, where if the camera is going to do a thing where it follows a move, it's to essentially enhance the impact of what you see. So I think like there's certain ways of doing it. Like I say, that takedown in the raid is a very good example of a takedown where the camera, you know, it adds so the audience feels the blow and feels the disorientation of it. Another good example of like an active camera is Old Boy, the tracking scene in the corridor. It's one of the first times I think I've ever seen that sort of wide lock shot where you realise what the character has to overcome is a wall. And the only way for you to film that is to watch that struggle in real time. Right. And that lock camera. And again, it becomes an active camera because you suddenly see the overwhelming sort of task ahead. / in Old Boy, you know.
Well, in Old Boy, it's like, you know, you're not like, oh my God, this guy's a martial arts expert. Look at him move. It's just like, holy shit, this guy is just like fighting for his life.
And it's the first time he says it. It's like, does, you know, training, you know, theorized training relate to practical situation? But yeah, like, so, you know, the camera is always thought about like, how do I enhance what the character's going through in this moment? And I think that's where this whole film sort of unraveled, was you never were in the characters, you're never behind them. Like, they were just very sort of cutscene video game characters in terms of you kind of got a sense of this. But even like the world ending Jeopardy just didn't feel like any Jeopardy. So like you weren't in that struggle, like again, which, you know, if we go back to Raging Fire, you feel like when they're on the streets in Raging Fire, every turn is a potential kill shot. Like every time they pop their head out or they run into an action scene, that is potentially threatening. Whereas this, you just feel like
loads of people die in that movie, right? Yeah. There's like people getting mown down. Whereas this, it's just like everyone's a martial arts expert, I guess, and then no one gets shot, no one gets barely injured. The supernatural stuff is like, I guess they were like, let's play it down a little bit so that we can make some cool action scenes. But then the whole,
on anything, or is it original IP? Do you know?
I do not know that, I'm afraid, Matthew.
I'm going to Google that whilst you do your point.
You could do the live Googling. But then the whole point of it is he is this like immortal warrior type thing, and the baddies are like super powerful supernatural things who can also just be killed if you stab them with a stick, or who are actually not that good at like fighting or anything.
Yeah.
So that also sort of like completely undermines the supernatural point. Like if you want it to be supernatural, fine, but what are we doing?
But again, that was my problem with when we watched The Matrix. My problem with The Matrix in those large action scenes is they think that having larger numbers to fight is more enticing than having, you know, a real element to fight. Like there's something about, I can turn anyone into a baddie. That's fine. But it doesn't have the same drive as, imagine these baddies who are trying to take over the world had fanatics fighting for them. Fanatics who will literally kill themselves to accomplish someone else's goal. You suddenly then have this thing again like, oh God, we're up against these absolute psychopaths who buy into this rhetoric, even though they know it will end life on Earth. That's kind of what the original Doctor Strange is. The baddies in that, they buy into the rhetoric of, you know, destruction and cleansing and all that stuff. Whereas if it is just a case of, I'm going to engineer some bodies.
It did remind me of The Matrix at points, actually, with that, where it was just like, there's a lot of action technically happening, but it's not. And I guess all these people trained and they put the work in and fair play, but why doesn't it feel engaging?
But that the other side of this as well is like Collateral and stuff like that. When they have that first big fight against people who are being turned into these villains, even then, when you're sort of like, I don't know what's going on as a fresh thingy, you're like, why are these people so okay with killing innocence.
It's true.
Even though that, you get
one
it.
lady's power is just shooting people. She just shoots everyone.
Kill or be killed, you get. But there's sort of no, like, we can't let this happen to innocents. Like, there's no collateral about it and stuff like that. Like, it's a case of, like...
It's not like they're zombies and it's like, we've lost them already. It's just like, they've just like, oh, she's controlling them.
Is there any way we can get these guys back? Not now. I've
shot a lot of them in the face.
Yeah. Like, are they gone? Aren't they gone? And it just, again, like, if you just, instead of, like, trying to come up with people who walk out of a fight and then call back to a conversation earlier, that's like imagine being in a fight and then saying something like, I can't remember what it is. Oh, good timing, I think it is. Imagine your instincts, like, I get it, you fought a lot, you sort of thing, and you've got to have a bit of gallows humour when you're in this line of work. But, like, for me, I'd be like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
What is going on? Like
they do try and chuck in a few of those little sort of like cheesy one-liners, and I've got time for those a lot of the time, but again, they just don't sit. Like, nothing about this movie feels right. It feels like it was generated by an algorithm. It feels like I don't know. I do know the director now. His name is Raoul René.
Oh yeah, it's the guy who's doing the new Halo movie, isn't it?
He's doing
the series,
a couple of episodes of it. Yep.
Yeah, series, isn't it? Yeah.
Dutch guy, so I feel there's a connection there. I'm proud that he's. What's weird is his like filmography includes several award-winning films and then a slew of straight-to-video sequels to like Hard Target, The Man with the Iron Fists, The Marine.
I mean, I've got a lot of time for all those titles.
And, this podcast is for celebrating that sort of shit. So I guess it's like, well, he's got the chops to shoot action. And, action happens and he does shoot it. And he clearly also has a drone license because, like, there's a lot of drone shots in it.
Very, very good drone shots in it. But again, it's drone shots which...
doesn't add anything to the action.
Yeah, again, it looks pretty, but it doesn't sort of, it's just weird. I don't know. I don't want to be negative about this film because it's...
All right. Well, we got to start the podcast again.
But you know what I mean? Like, we have been, but it's not a terrible film. Like, it's not a 1-2 star film. It's a very low end.
I'm giving it 2 stars.
But like, again, it's...
I'm sorry, that's out there now.
It's one of those things where I don't understand why it's like this, because there are elements that really work. Like I say, so the action really works. But again, it's a lesson in, if you don't care for the people you're watching and the people don't care for the people they're trying to protect or save, and you've got nothing to get under it, like, your action has to be just implicitly, I don't know, your action has to be next level action.
Yeah, you've got to... I'm not invested in any character in this entire movie. And no spoilers, but like, none of them are ever in any real jeopardy where you think, oh fuck, I don't think they're going to make it out of this.
Yeah, I really hate this because, like you say, we didn't want to do this sort of film.
No.
And again, there's films I've watched that are so much worse. And it just, it's just a weird thing, isn't it? It's not even. I don't even think it's a bad film.
I think plenty of people will watch this on Netflix and they will all think it's fine. But also, I think action fans will watch this who are fans of these actors, especially Iko, who are gonna be disappointed. It's a film that has Iko fighting for half the movie and yet somehow makes it not look that great. There's one fight scene that's shot on a fucking motion control robot. I mean, it's sort of, the idea is cool.
It's weird. I wonder if they rush post as well, because there's spoilers, there's a neck snap and the blow just doesn't land, and there's a bit where he's talking to a character after he's knocked her down and they just have what feels like ADR hidden behind a thing. And
right.
you can't tell if they're stylistic choices, or maybe it's just a thing with Netflix. Maybe they are producing so much stuff that they just don't have that extra couple of days to get it. So, like, they've got big budgets, but maybe it's a time thing. I don't know.
I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I mean, in fairness, Iko doesn't say a lot in this movie. Like, They know why he's there, and that is to beat people up. And he does, but it's not great.
Yeah, all the elements are there, but they just don't work. I'll say this though, and because I don't want you to go away and go, I'll give that a miss. It's 90 minutes.
Yeah, it is short.
It might be if you come in late at night, you're just like, I want to watch something, but got not much time, and you want to sort of half watch it. This film's great for that. Like, if you just want a McDonald's
wallpaper.
of a film, a McDonald's of a film, you just want something to fill your belly.
If you've been to Thailand and you're like, I'd love to see some images of Thailand a lot, maybe you'll enjoy it on that level. Yeah. Remember when we went on that boat in Thailand? Oh, look, they've got that boat. Oh, they've got a tuk-tuk. Oh, look, there's a building.
Or if you live in Thailand and you want to say, I wonder how what was going on that day I couldn't get home.
That's right.
20 minutes.
Let's
wrap it up.
I think I've said everything I want to say. I think you get my vibes on this one. I had high hopes, and I'm afraid they were somewhat dashed. I don't want to shit all over a movie, but it is a brand new movie, and it's lovely to talk about something as it's coming out. I wish I could recommend it more. Yeah, your mileage may vary. That's how I'll leave it.
That sounds good to me.
Before we finish talking about this movie, though, what is your action replay moment?
You already know it's a good bit. He slams his foot down, kicks the handle of the wok hits someone in the head. It's a great little snappy move in the middle of a fight sequence.
That is pretty good, actually. Yeah, throughout the movie I was like, what is my action replay moment? I think maybe it'll just have to be the bit that is the motion control camera, because I was kind of like technically like, I think they're filming this on a motion control robot because that camera is whizzing around. Yeah, but what happened in the scene? Couldn't tell you. Sorry, everyone involved. I know you did your best. I don't know where we can lay the blame. Have you watched this movie? Do you disagree or do you agree? Let us know by getting in touch.
I think that's it. I think we're out. I think we're done.
Matthew, you seem to have forgotten the new addition to the podcast from last time. The action movie trivia cards.
Here we go.
Let's keep this nice and short. I'm taking the next one. Okay, there's no funny business.
Okay.
What is Inspector Scott Roper's speciality in the movie Metro? Do you remember that movie and who it stars?
I don't think I've ever seen Metro.
It is an Eddie Murphy movie set in, I believe, San Francisco.
Maybe I've seen this. Give me the multiple choices and I'll see if it rings a bell.
Okay, multiple choices are dog handling, organized crime, hostage negotiation, diving.
Feel like it might be hostage negotiation.
Is that your final answer?
I'm going to say yes. You
have got it right, Matthew. You are back next week to fight for the title.
Oh, there we go.
A little throwback to a little seen, little known, little appreciated Eddie Murphy movie from, I want to say, the 1990s. I can't remember if it's any good. I think it's fine. That's all for this episode. I hope for the next one, I think I'm going to make it my mission to find something that we will probably enjoy. That sounds like a good one, doesn't it? Get us back on enthusiastic track. Sorry if it's been a bit of a downer. Just, I'm just being honest, mate. You live in the Netherlands long enough and you realise that honesty can sometimes be quite painful. If you want to get in touch, I'm at Simon Fielder on pretty much everything. Matthew, you've got a couple of different ones, haven't you?
At Matt Titan on Twitter. It's Matt Titan on Insta. Matt Titan in real life.
In real life, if you see
me,
don't have to use the at.
No, but the full name.
Matthew Elizabeth Highton.
Yeah.
All right. That's all for episode 7 and Fistful of Vengeance. We will see you in 2 weeks' time. Keep kicking.
Yeah, keep kicking.
Yes. It was so natural. He remembered it. It's so
good
natural.
To say it.
It's really exciting way to end.
Oh, you just get trail out as normal.
I'm already fading at this point. Yeah, we're gone, mate. We are gone.